And now on Nights with Steve Price from the 50-Up Club, Christopher Zinn.
Christopher joins us every Thursday night. How are you, Christopher?
Well, thank you, Stephen. Yourself?
Very good. I was very emotional after the lunch that we were both at yesterday for Glenn Wheeler, organised by 2GB, and a great job was done by Ben Ford in pulling all that together. But you had a table there of 50-Up Club members. How did they react? It was a very emotional day, wasn't it?
It was, and look, certainly what I noted, they really came from all walks of life. There was a chartered accountant, there were people born overseas, so they're not just, the 50-Up is the one thing they have in common, but yeah. I was very impressed, with the sense of feeling there was for Glenn, his situation, and his resolve to fight back and get back on his feet and carry on. So it was really very inspiring on a number of levels.
Yeah, and people who'd seen him earlier in the year after his injury said that he's just come so far. I had a chance to have a chat to him, and I'm just so pleased to see the progress he's made. Let's hope he keeps making progress. Talking about progress, if you want to progress these days in the modern economy, you've got to be able to be flexible despite your age and think about using things like Airbnb, eBay, Uber. Do you find that most people these days, regardless of age, are switched on to the new economies?
Many. I don't know about most, but I think certainly there are some 50-ups because, who have these sort of underused assets like spare room in the house or maybe the whole house altogether while they go off travelling, who've realised that, with the likes of Airbnb, you can get quite considerable cash out of what's called the sharing economy. So some of them are taking really full advantage and pioneering what is a very different and new and evolving model.
That's an excellent point because, lots of people who have retired and have put away enough money to travel, you might, when you get to that age and you no longer got the requirements of turning up to work 9 to 5, you might take 6 months and go on a road trip yourself. Even if you're going around Australia with your caravan, it would make great sense to put your property on Airbnb and earn some income or some spending money to spend while you're on the road.
And, this just was not possible before. Certainly you could do a long-term rent, or you may or wouldn't. I don't think people realise the value, and that's the whole point of what's called the sharing economy. It's actually the value which is in underused assets. And those assets, can be material, be that your car or your house, or they can actually be your talents too. So people, might have some handyman skills or some technical skills that they can parcel up or sell or something they can do online. And, find customers on the other side of the world who are willing to pay them. So it really is drawing out all sorts of opportunities.
I know somebody former radio announcer, who decided he would start to try and make some extra cash by being an Uber driver, and he's now staggered himself about how much money he can actually make in any given month.
Yeah, and look, there's the flexibility. So, the point of this sharing economy, you can be a consumer of it, i.e. a Uber passenger, or a producer of the service, i.e. an Uber driver. And in fact, you might be both. So that's the sort of exciting new world that we go into. But yeah, the rewards might not be insignificant. And I was at a talk with Jason Sinclair, who's a shadow minister, talking about in his electorate the number of eBay millionaires there are, people who don't live in the flash end of town, who are making considerable amounts selling goods and services online and doing very well out of it.
So we would, of course, caution people, if you are going to put your property up on, Airbnb, make sure you do all the research. And likewise, if you're thinking about signing up to Uber, make sure you do all the research. You don't want to get yourself caught from particularly an insurance point of view where someone might get injured in your vehicle or in your house. So I just caution people to talk to someone else who's done it, find out what the pitfalls are.
Yeah, and there are particular policies for households that will manifest, include Airbnb. And this is the interesting thing. One is the regulation, and of course there's a great bun fight going on with taxis and Uber and other ride-sharing services around that. But the other one is trust, and this is what the interesting bit that they've had to crack with all of these services. Why would I trust a stranger to come into my house and stay there? Or why would I trust a stranger who pays $10 an hour to use my car to bring it back in one piece? And it really is all about the rating and review which both the consumer and the producer of the service are given by those who use their service or provide the service. And that, gives an accountability and trust which can be validated. And that's the kind of bit that really makes it work.
Yeah, I heard our regular Hedley Thomas has just had one quick week in Florence in Italy, used Airbnb. I said, oh, well, I wouldn't want to stay in someone's house with someone else. He said, no, these were apartments that were rented out. We did it online. It was perfect.
Exactly, and it's like, eBay, people think it's second-hand goods. Nearly everything they sell is actually brand new now. So while these things begin in one area, and it was like a bed and breakfast in someone's house, they evolve rapidly into other systems as well. So I think it's worth checking them out as a consumer, but you may well find that you're able to produce some of these goods and services too in a way that could be quite profitable.
Always a pleasure to catch up with you, Christopher. I'll make sure we speak next week. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve.
Christopher Zinn there from the 50 Up Club.